Today we're going to walk through the process of making French press coffee. To do this, you'll need a few items. Whole bean coffee. You can use pre-ground coffee, but for a fresher, better tasting coffee, I would recommend grinding your own beans. A French press coffee maker. An electric kettle to make hot water. A Burr Grinder. A food scale. When measuring the coffee in water, a good starting ratio is 1 to 15. That just means that for every gram of coffee beans that we'll be using 15 grams of water. For this French press, I'm using 32 grams of coffee. If the ratio is 1 to 15, that's 32 grams of coffee times 15, which equals 480 grams of water. We want to measure the coffee beans before grinding. Place a container onto the scale, then reset the scale to 0. Next, pour the coffee beans into the container until the scale reads 32 grams. Next, pour the container of coffee beans into the Burr Grinder. We want to grind the beans a little coarser than traditional drip coffee. So, the coffee grounds need to be roughly the size of table salt. Before adding the coffee grounds to the French press, we want to prime the French press with hot water. The optimal water temperature is between 195 degrees Fahrenheit and 205 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to heat the water to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, bring the water to a boil and then let it cool for around 30 seconds. This will ensure the temperature is consistent throughout the brewing process. Once the water is heated, pour a little hot water in and let it warm up the glass for about 30 seconds. Once your French press is warmed up, pour out the hot water. Now, it's time to add the coffee grounds. Put the French press on the scale and reset the scale to 0. Pour in the 32 grams of ground coffee. Then reset the scale to 0 again. Next, pour in the hot water. Remember, you want the water temperature to be between 195 degrees Fahrenheit and 205 degrees Fahrenheit. As you pour in the hot water, ensure that you soak as much of the ground coffee as possible. While you're pouring the hot water, monitor the scale until it reaches 480 grams. It takes 4 minutes to brew a good cup of coffee with a French press. So once you've poured in the hot water, start a timer for 4 minutes. As the coffee is brewing, you may notice a small crust of coffee grounds forming on top of the water. If this happens, you'll want to break this crust by gently stirring the coffee grounds using a plastic or wooden spoon. We want to ensure all of the grounds are completely immersed in the water. Once the timer hits 4 minutes, the coffee is finished brewing. Put the lid on and gently press down on the plunger to filter the coffee. And that's it. Enjoy your fresh cup of coffee made with a French press.